Welcome 3D students. In this series of videos we're going to learn how to create a pair of dice or mini dice, and we're going to use them to set up a physics simulation using MassFX, and then we're going to set up a virtual camera in our render, and we're going to use depth of field, which is what it means when you have things that are at a certain point in the viewing plane in focus and things that are out of that plane out of focus, like this. So let's get started. So I have here a new scene. I'm going to create a box. Doesn't really matter which view you create it in. I usually create mine in the top view. And then it needs to be a cube. I'm going to make it 20 by 20 by 20. Then I'm going to expand my perspective view and turn on edged faces. And we're going to convert this cube to an editable poly. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is smooth this cube, and you already know we can use NURBS to smooth it, and we can also use Turbo Smooth to smooth it. We're going to use another smoothing modifier called Open Subdiv. All smoothing methods subdivide the mesh and smooth it, but they all do it a little bit differently from each other. And I don't know enough about how they work to explain it, but just know that Open Subdiv is more similar to what Maya uses when they're smoothing preview, when you do that in Maya. So let's go ahead and apply Open Subdiv. Let's come up to the modifier list, click it, and then just hit O on your keyboard, and that sorts everything. And here's Open Subdiv at the top, and it will smooth it. Now we're going to add some edges, so let's switch to edge mode, and then we're going to turn on Show End Result right here, and we're going to subdivide this mesh. Going to add some edges to control the smoothing. So let's select all these edges in this direction, and we're going to right click and bring up the connect options, and then we're going to add 4 edges and click the checkbox, and then let's do the same thing horizontally. We're going to do this to pretty much all sides. Let's go around this side. Now I'm just drawing a very thin selection box through the middle here, so I'm just selecting the parallel edges going away from me, not the horizontal ones, not the vertical ones. Let's check and make sure we have squares on every side of it. We do. And now we're going to create the little number dimples on each side, which are called pips, by the way. So let's go to polygon mode, and we're going to select these 3, and you can't really see them very well. So I'm going to change the color of my cage so you can see it better. If you scroll down, you can find the subdivision surface cage here, and it's got 2 color swatches. I'm going to change this one to green, and we'll change this one to red. I'm also going to change the color of my die here so you can just see things a little better. Okay, back to polygon mode. And you can clearly see here that I've got these selected. I'm going to switch around to the other side, and I'm going to select these 4. Now each 2 opposite sides of a die total 7. That's why I did it that way. The next thing we're going to do is bring up Inset, and we're going to inset this just a little bit, maybe 0.25, and then we're going to bring up Extrude, and we're going to extrude it inward, maybe about 0.5, maybe a little bit more. And there you go. And then let's do this side. Remember I said each opposite side has to total 7, so that would be 6, and then that would be 1. Let's bring up Inset Options first by polygon. And then let's bring up Extrude. And it should do the same thing it did last time. And then, let's see, we've got 6 and 1 and 4 and 2, so this needs to be 5 and 2. Oops. I often accidentally move things when I'm selecting them. If you do that, then just simply hit Control Z. Remember Inset, and then Extrude. So when you expand your ribbon here, again, you can see edges right here. Click this little drop down and you can crease an edge, and that hardens it. So let's crease this edge 1, and you can see that defines it a little more. So I think that's worth doing to all the top edges of your pip holes to make them look like they're a little more machined in there. You can double click on each one to select the whole loop. Object mode and turn off edged faces and see what our die looks like. And you still see those little edges there, so let's fix that. If we go back to the modifier and give it 2 iterations, it should smooth that out. And that's how you make a die. In the next video, I'll show you how to put materials on it, and then we'll set up a simulation after that. And I'll see you then.